what did you learn in a nutshell that transformed your business?
I found that there was, again, this huge gap between the expectations of the owner advisor and anyone else that worked for them. And I'm like, this just feels too far apart. There's got to be a better way to do this. If I keep down this path, I'll be very successful, but I'm going to be a total slave to the business. And most advisors are. How do you get onto a new path? How do you start something different? Or how do you intentionally understand that what you're doing is the right path?
All right, we're back in Nashville, Tennessee. Carolyn Nolan in the house.
I left my cowboy hat in the room. Shoot.
Yeah, last night, first time we met at dinner, and you walk up with the hat from Jackson Hole, right?
Yeah.
It looked very Yellowstone-ish. Yeah. You had a Yellowstone vibe going on last night.
Yeah, I was rocking the hat. I was like, I'm from Boston. I need a reason to wear this hat again.
Yeah.
I had my cowgirl braid. I was just looking for cowboys.
Yeah, you have.
They weren't out.
There's plenty of them here. What do you mean they weren't out?
I know, we got to get out.
Yeah.
Not where we were.
Yeah, no, you're right. Not where we were. That's for sure. Yeah, Nashville though, is this how many times have you been in Nashville?
Oh God, how many bachelorette parties have I been to? I don't know.
Plenty?
Lots. Yeah, good amount.
And you're from Boston?
But I'm from Boston. Yeah.
So
you'll hear me say wicked. You're not going to get an accent unless we get in a fight, and then I might start throwing some Boston.
Yeah, I noticed last night I didn't hear like any East Coast. Yeah.
No, you're not going to get it.
Nothing crazy. Are you from the East Coast?
Yeah, I'm originally from just south of the city, and now I live just north of the city in the burbs.
Okay, gotcha. And then what's life like in Boston? What do you love about it? What do you hate about it?
I mean, I love that Boston is a small enough city that you can walk around.
Yeah.
But there's all these different pockets. So even from one burb to the next, it's totally different, whether it's the food, the people. And then I live just north of the city. That's all of 20 minutes north, but it's totally suburban.
Yeah.
So you get kind of the best of both worlds. I go to the Cape in the summer. We can go skiing up north. And I mean, it's ice. It's not like real skiing. I only went out west to go skiing a couple years ago. I'm like, oh, this is what snow's like.
Yeah.
This is what skiing and snow is like.
Yeah. I mean, I've been out there a handful of times and just super cool. You did like a lot of the sports stuff out there. Do you do any of the sports stuff? Do you care at all?
No,
Not
don't
really?
care.
Yeah.
No, but my kids love it. So
yeah, I remember you said your kid last night, your 11-year-old knows like every stat of everything.
Every stat of every Celtics or the entire NBA, never mind NHL. And and it's cool. I mean, we can take the train right into the TD Garden. It's a 15-minute train ride, which is super cool.
Yeah.
For events and sports, stuff like that.
Well, the podcast is called Just Like That, Only Different. We're going to kind of peel it back a little bit, find out what makes you just like everybody else, but only different. There's something there. I can see it. And you built some teams. You built some really cool stuff. You're a builder. You're a leader. I can tell. Yeah. You're a visionary. So we're going to peel into all that.
Yeah.
Now.
We're going to try to figure me out.
We're going to try. We're going to try.
Yeah, good luck.
We're going to try.
Peel it back.
As we peel it back, where I like to start is just really, I studied under Rene Rodriguez. He's a world-renowned speaker, and he talks about those years 9 to 13. Something happened in there. Either there's a foghorn or a lighthouse in your life that really shaped a lot of your life. Is there something in that? Let's take us back, is what I'm saying.
Growing up, 9?
Growing up, I mean, what was it like?
Age 9.
Yeah, back to age 9 or growing up. What was growing up like for you?
Age 9?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I grew up in the burbs just south of the city. I was always an athlete. I was actually really tomboyish as a kid.
I could see that. Athlete. So what sports? Basketball
was like my main sport.
Yep.
But I always played with the boys.
Yeah.
Not because I was flirting with them. Now that's what I do. But no, I liked being physical and like playing games.
And still competitive. I assume from what I've seen in the last 24 hours, you're very competitive.
Yes, but I've become more competitive with myself as more time has gone on. Like, I'm not trying to beat you. Like, I'm curious what you're doing so I can do it too. But I'm cheering you on as much as it's like a healthy competition, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not trying to beat you.
For sure.
I'm trying to beat the last version of me.
Yeah, it's really you versus you type of deal.
Yeah. Age 9 to 13, what the heck happened?
I mean, growing up, did you have a good family life? How was it? There we go. Okay. So, I mean, that's what we talk about in those transformative years.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up? It sounds like by that reaction.
it was, I mean, I think every kid if all you know is what you know, and there's
Yeah.
nothing extreme that's happening there, but we had I think some less traditional happenings in our family that I came to learn when I was much older.
Yeah.
Of like, what's your dad do? And we're like, we're not really sure. Okay. But what I did see from an early age was dad working from home or like doing things from home, which was like a lot less traditional than a lot of our friends. I didn't know exactly what he did, but it was kind of like consulting. His background, he was a CPA, but then he got involved in different real estate ventures and he was kind of just always moving and shaking.
Yeah. Pretty wealthy family then growing up or not?
Growing up, gazillions. And then all of a sudden one day it was all gone.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So that's not age 9 to 13, but that was like year 2 in the business.
But back from 9 to 13, it was a pretty, I mean, you had it made kind of.
We had
growing up.
everything.
Yeah.
There was nothing we ever like needed. There was always like 2 extra cars in the driveway and crazy trips and But there was something. There was like this extra pressure, I think, that always came from in our family. Especially I think me being the oldest and just being pretty smart. I was just expected to be the best at everything.
Yeah.
And it was only after I went to college, like I went to Georgetown undergrad, that I was just hell-bent on like, I'm getting into Georgetown. I visited there in high school. I went to an all-girls Catholic school that I did not want to go to. But my parents said my freshman year, they're like, just give it a try for 3 months. If you don't like it, you can go to Milton Public. You can go to the public school. And I was crying in my first day of school picture, like, this sucks. I don't want to go to this freaking place. And by December, I was like, my best friends in the world are these girls.
Yeah.
And they're still my best friends. There's something like really special about when you just get women or girls. I feel weird even now. I'm 44 saying women. Like, it's just the girls. We're just getting together. Something different. Something special happens. And I visited DC on like some school trip and saw Georgetown. I wrote my parents a postcard and they kept it. That's like, I don't know what it is about this place. This is just where I want to go.
Yeah.
And once I know what I want, like, I'm getting it.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm just like that. It's been like a while though, and it's actually a really nice feeling to kind of take a break of like, I don't really know what I want to do next.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of those moments of like, whether it's I want to buy that house, I want to be a mom, I want to whatever, and I've always gotten
Business
it.
to run without you.
What's that?
You want your business
I
to
want
run
the business
with
to run without me.
Yeah.
But what I found was that as more time went on, a lot of the goals, like as they got bigger, the time frame was longer to get there. And now it's kind of like a game to play with myself of like, what really is a reasonable time frame to expect certain things. Like self-managing company, from the time I started a program to create that to it being real was probably like 7 years.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of unlearning to do. There's a lot of people that need to go. There's
and to do something different, you literally have to go different places or do different things you've never done before.
Yeah. But it's like you get hit by a 2x4 one day and you're like, oh, okay. It's like you're at a fork in the road and you're like, oh, we're going this way.
Yeah.
Are we telling people we're going this way, or they'll just figure it out?
Yeah.
So a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But growing up there, you mentioned the word pressure. So do you felt like you were held at a high standard to perform and be the best and held up to the family name, in other words?
Yeah. And I mean, I was the firstborn in my family and in our entire extended family. And I don't know if it was from my parents or from within. It kind of doesn't matter. But I just held myself to this almost regard of like perfectionism that was ridiculous. And then when I got to college, I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me try on, like, what does it feel like to just not give a shit?
Yeah.
And I did that for
like
4 years.
Like rebel in college? Like
Kinda, because it was like, it's Tuesday, I'm going out, and call home, and they're like, you can't do that. And I'm like, oh, but I am.
Yeah.
And the biggest consequence was letting myself down. Like getting grades that are like, But I recognized in college, like, I'm going to have to fucking kill myself to get an A, or I can kind of like, and get Bs. And I was like, Bs are fine.
Yeah.
But I knew that's not where I wanted to be in life. It's like I took a 4-year, like, let me try on some stuff that I never allowed myself to do, and my parents definitely weren't cool with me doing. But I recall even there's one professor, and I was like, I was devastated about this guy. Oh, it's so stupid. And I was all bent out of shape, and this professor sat me down and was like, tell me, like, what activities do you do? What work are you doing? And I was a sophomore at the time, and I had like nothing on the docket. And she like wrote on a piece of paper, like a prescription. And she's like, and it said on it, just get busy.
Yeah.
Go get busy.
That was your prescription?
Like I had way too much time. I had way too much free time on my hands. And I find that still is like, the goal isn't like balance. The goal is like continuing to figure out what are the things I want to do and making sure I'm not doing things just out of momentum or like because someone else said I'm supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, as you get older or get to different points in your business and your life, you're like, where and how can I just be more intentional that I'm living my own authentic life and not the life that my parents told me I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So even after school, I mean, I was a psychology and Italian undergrad. My parents were like, oh God, what are we doing here? And I was like, it's fine. And most of my friends were going to work on Wall Street. And I'm like, that just doesn't sound exciting to me. Like I knew I wanted to come home. And they're like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Like, just like I always figure things out. I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah.
And they weren't either, but they just were genuinely concerned just being parents.
Yeah.
And I started interviewing kind of anywhere. And I originally was at the last round of this interview for commercial real estate that I didn't know anything about, but I knew the guy I was interviewing with. I didn't get the job. And I was kind of pissed, but it was more like out of like, shit, I got to go find something else.
Yeah.
As opposed to actually really wanting it.
Right.
And then I ended up interviewing at American Express Financial through a monster.com. That's what you used to do.
And when was this?
2004.
How old were you at this point?
22.
22. So
I'm living at home. My parents are like, let me think.
So you're back in college. You're back from, you graduated
back from
college.
Georgetown.
Yeah.
It's like late spring. And they're like, we're going to help you out till September. And like, you can still live here, but you got to pay for all your shit. I was like, And like, I'd been waiting tables. I knew I could do that. But I was like, okay, let's, in light of you did nothing basically for 4 years. I did wait tables all through college. Most of my friends didn't work. And my parents did cut me off because they used to, on the credit card, watch me up and down the street of M Street in Georgetown.
Is that where all the bars
shopping.
are?
It's all the shopping.
Okay.
And they were like, oh my God. And my mother's like, you gave her the credit card. He's like, it was for emergencies. Yeah. But no. So they took away the credit card and they're like, you're on your own there. So I ended up waiting tables. And the most I learned in college was actually from waiting tables.
Explain that a little bit. I mean, what did you learn at that?
You're hustling. Like I worked at the one not fancy restaurant in Georgetown. Georgetown is like Newbury Street. It's like M Street, Georgetown is like pretty fancy. There's a ton of people visiting because it's DC. They're visiting from all over the world. And this restaurant I worked at was a bar and barbecue place. So it was the one place that you wore jeans and T-shirts and you got covered in barbecue sauce. And it was just, but it was fun. It was challenging.
More of a blue collar restaurant?
Yes and no, but
nice.
It was just busy.
Yeah.
So like it was always packed.
Yeah.
I always worked crazy shifts. I just want to get cash.
And you learned how to communicate and you learned how to sell because you're working for tips, I assume.
But it's not like I was trying to get that. But I recognize like that's where I learned not even how to do it, but I recognize I'm just good at this and I like this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun.
What did you like?
I liked creating an experience for people. So like if someone would just randomly, I remember there was one table and it was a Sunday brunch and they just unsolicited were like, I want you to give yourself a grade from like, A to F, you're in college, give yourself a grade on how you think you did. And I was like, I don't know, like a B+. And they're like, dude, you're like an A+. You were awesome.
Yeah.
And like, we see you hustling and being seen and getting someone to say thank you for like working hard and providing a good experience. And they see that I'm really like doing my best.
Yeah.
But that was like really neat. And after oh my God, if you're not a server at any point, like you just have no appreciation of what that entire world is like.
I mean, just affirmation in general, what you just said. I mean, you've got a team now. I've got a team. I mean, whenever you go out of your way to recognize somebody for just doing a great job, I mean, that does so much for people. Yeah. No matter what profession you're in.
For sure. And I think that's where too, like if you mess something up, it's like owning it and not like hiding in the back.
Oh yeah.
But like coming up to someone and being like, I'm so sorry this got messed up and like trying to make it right.
Oh, absolutely.
And things that you can't like learn in a textbook. Like you have to learn it in real life or just difficult people or someone stiffs you on a tip or like one of the funnest stories was actually me and a friend who also he and I worked together. And we went skydiving one day and we like just didn't show up for work. Well, it just ended up being way longer and it was before you could call people. Like I don't remember if there were cell phones or it wasn't a big thing. But we ended up coming in after, and they tried to fire us, and we convinced them not to fire us. So even that was like a game in itself.
Yeah.
Like you could have gotten a job somewhere else, but like we really liked it there. And we knew that we knew we did a good job, and we knew they liked us. And we were just like, hey, we fucked up. Like we won't do that again.
Yeah.
Even that like was just funny.
Well, it reminds me, I told you last night I coached college football for 5 years, in high school for another 5 years, coached for 10 years.
Yeah.
And you had to work with all different personalities,
Yeah.
all different people from all walks of life. Same with serving. You had to learn how to manage all these different personalities,
Right.
communicate effectively,
Right.
get them to know, like, and trust you at the table type of deal. I mean, I feel like that industry builds such big foundational skills for what you built today, which we're going to get into.
Yeah. And just like juggling a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, just stuff, like as physical stuff.
Just like a business owner. I mean, you're juggling all these different things and having to manage all these different departments and emotions at times.
And literally needing to prioritize it sometimes. Like, what am I going to intentionally let fall? Because something has to fall. So what will I prioritize first and last? And
yeah. I mean, so that job, it sounds like, prepared you for a lot of things, or you took a lot of skills away from that.
Yeah. I really just don't think there's any downside to anyone at some point being in the restaurant services.
Yeah, just in service-based, just dealing with people.
Yeah.
So you transition, you're leaving college, your parents are like, hey, you got to get something done here, girl. Yeah. Or we're cutting you off. So back to, at the time, it wasn't Ameriprise, right? It was
American Express Financial.
Okay.
Yep. And
what is that for people listening? What is American Express Financial?
So Ameriprise was a spinoff of American Express Financial, like the credit card company, but their major revenue is credit cards and travel. Yep. So Ameriprise then becomes its own independent thing. So their entire focus is on the client experience, which was cool. But I wasn't like researching what firm do I want to be with. I just needed to get a freaking job.
But even in the financial services at this time, like you were just looking for a job. Like financial services, just what came to the forefront.
Could have been anything. Yeah. No, it was one of the first interviews, and then even
what was the interview? What was the position?
It was for an advisor position.
Okay.
And they're like, there's a draw. There's no base salary.
An advisor, explain to the listeners exactly what an advisor means.
So a financial advisor. So you're selling financial planning.
Yep. Fee-based services.
It wasn't fee-based at the time. So at the time, the environment was more of a commission. That's like before people were doing fee-based.
Okay.
Like we would sell financial plans for $300 and you pay them once.
Consulting, one-time fee type deal.
Yeah, and now like our average fee is like $3,500 and it's a recurring annual, like holistic. But we weren't offering the same experience then either. It was just me, 22 out of college. Like, will you buy?
And what kind of plan were you putting together at that point?
It was pretty basic.
Well, let's back up though. So you're going through all this interview process.
Yeah.
Was that like the first job you found and like you got hired or what?
Yeah. Well, no, the first job I was trying to get was in commercial real estate. I got to the last interview, didn't get it, but I was like, well, whatever. More discouraged that I have to go find something else as opposed to being discouraged because I really wanted it.
Yeah.
But I did like the idea of that industry as well, that you kind of eat what you kill.
Yeah.
The thought of having a salary like never appealed to me. I've never had a job that had a salary.
Yeah, I mean, even serving, it was basically you maybe got like $4 or $5 an hour, but you were living off the tips. And,
it was all the tips and the experience, and that even in itself was just kind of like a game.
Yeah,
like there's pretty like solid averages, you know what you're gonna get, but it's a pretty good hourly rate if you think of it that way.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're killing it on the serving side, I mean, you're probably making $100 an hour at that time at least, which was really good.
No, it was really good. But the money aside, I was having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so like I would meet guys that I'd go on dates with. I would like meet people that we would just hang out after and have drinks. Like
probably
it was
a lot of interesting people too. And
it was very not boring.
Yeah.
So I think that's when too I got like really clear that I'm just super intrigued and interested in people.
Yep.
And meeting like wide range of people. Like some people are good with just having their circle. Yeah. And they're like, these are all the people I ever need to know. And I'm like, no, I love just constantly meeting new people.
And problem solving, would you say that's something you care about or?
I get so bored when things are easy. I'm quickly bored.
Yeah.
So like I'm a 10 quick start. Like COVID, as much as COVID was totally debilitating for people, my brain was on like, I wasn't overwhelmed in a bad way. I was overwhelmed in a good way with braining ideas on how we do things better.
Our model changed completely because of COVID.
Changed everything. But chaos is good for me. Boredom is bad.
Yeah.
And that's that now I understand, like with most entrepreneurs, like if you want to get in trouble, you get an entrepreneur board.
Yeah.
like that's when you get in trouble.
Yeah. So you got hired.
Yeah.
Or is there anything we need to know about the hiring process or anything there?
I mean, the hiring process, it was like a funnel and it was like a sales funnel in itself.
Yeah. Was it like a Ponzi or a pyramid scheme type deal?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
But they understand that most of the people fail out, so they just need to keep hiring.
Law of numbers, yeah.
Yeah. But it worked. And I'm a salesperson's dream. Like, I'm just like, oh, you say I can't do it?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You say most people fail and there's no women. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I ended up running into a friend's, one of my girlfriends, her sister's now husband, was in the office, and I forgot that Pete even worked there. And he sees me and he's like, Carolyn, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to get a job. He's like, come here. And he brings me in his office either before or after the interview. I don't know. And basically just sells me himself, whether it was because he was going to get a commission for bringing me in or because he really means it. And now I know it was both.
Yeah.
But he's like, listen, like, give this a try. If you love it, it'll change your life and you'll change other people's lives. And if you don't, you'll be 23 and do something else. Like, what do you have to lose? And I was like, that's reasonable.
Man, I see we are recruiting so many young people now, like 22, 23, 24.
Yeah.
Which 22, 23, 24, I was not focused on making money. I was focused on where I was going to get my next beer or just dumb things. And I just think that if you can handle a commission-based sales position at that age, oh my gosh, your future is so bright.
Well, and I think that too, for me, I had gone from this like cutthroat, must be perfect, must be straight AA plus and AP classes in high school to like, fuck it, in college. Yeah. I was ready to work hard.
Yeah.
So I was also like,
so you took 4 years off and now you felt like you were back ready to go.
But again, like this isn't plan design. Like this is me looking backwards and saying what, like my best guess of kind of how this went down for me.
Yeah.
And the timing of it just was kind of right. But I do believe in like the universe sends you different opportunities and you just make the decision of if you're going to bite or not.
Yep.
And when I make a decision, like I don't toggle. Like I'm either 100% in or I'm like out.
Do you make quick decisions?
Yes, that's a quick start. I'm like, you can ask me, do you want to, and I'm saying yes before I even know what the heck you're offering.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what are we doing?
But I mean, I'm telling you, the most successful people that I work with don't need a lot of time to make a decision.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's where it can get you in trouble.
Yes. They also, the most successful people I work with, make a quick note too on both sides of it.
Yeah, and that's where now I think better understanding my own core values, our team's core values. It's kind of like if you're going to buy a house, like you might get yourself in trouble if you don't already have your pre-populated list of like what cannot be true under any circumstance, what must be true, and the rest doesn't matter. Yeah. Like if you don't have a sense of that going into certain decisions, like you can get in trouble.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and I guess that's what I mean is when successful people make a decision, they are very confident on what they want and what they need and what's going to work.
Well, and I think the bigger thing is if you're in something and then all of a sudden you're like, shit, this isn't actually what I want. You get out fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
That's, yeah. And I think that's where, like for me, one of the hard things is I fall in love with people. So like when I don't mean like relationship wise, but I mean like if there's a client.
With employees, people.
Employees, clients, like I can want it more than they want it for themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm not great at discerning that their behavior isn't matching like what they would need to do to actually get what they want.
That was very tough for me with my first couple of hires that it probably wasn't the best fit. But I held on way too long. Yeah. Just because I liked them as people, or maybe I just didn't want to let them fail.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not about feeling like a failure or, I don't know. It's like you're just trying to save everyone, but not everyone's meant to be saved by you. Yeah. And they need to save themselves. Yeah. Sometimes. So that is where I'm not so good. I'm still not so good. But what I learned is you don't have to be good at everything. No. So as like more time has gone on, I found like so much freedom and increased confidence in just what I'm really good at and what I'm not. I'm like, I'm not good at that. Like I can do it if you need me to do it. Yeah. And it's not about my ego. It's not about entitlement, but I'm like, we're better served if someone else is doing that.
Yeah. I mean, hiring your weaknesses. Yeah. Right. That's been a big move for me as well. Is like, I'm really good at this. I'm going to focus on this. Yeah. And then find somebody that's better to do this over here. Yeah. Type deal.
So when I started, and that was the old model, and we were cold calling, we were like, I almost failed out of the business in the beginning. And then
And you were cold calling and selling what? Like, what was the cold call? Like, hey,
we had scripts and funnels and
what were you
objection
actually
handlers,
selling?
Financial planning.
Yeah. So, hey, you filled this out and I'm going to put a financial plan together for you.
Well, it's not even that. It's just, you're more so just trying to get an appointment to have a conversation.
Yeah.
So that's initially it. Because once I get in there, I'm actually really good
you're
at
selling
it.
the appointment first. The
hardest thing was selling the appointment.
Yeah.
Once you get in, my close rate was really good pretty fast. But getting the appointment was
Which
really
is no
hard.
different today's day and age. No matter what you're selling the appointment first.
Yeah.
Then once you get to the appointment, you're selling whatever you're selling after that. So same concept. You were doing that, cold calling.
And I think, especially being a woman in our business, there's just fewer of us. Yeah. And you can't hide the fact that you're younger. I mean, when I was 22, I looked 22.
Yeah.
I like to think I look the same, but I probably don't. Because now I'll hire a 20-something-year-old. I'm like, oh, I don't look anything like you. I could be your mom, actually. This is so weird. But I just never had a problem of just asking for the order.
Yeah.
And I never had I never felt pushy. I never felt like, oh my God, if they don't say yes, like, it's over.
It's
I'm
so
like,
simple,
next.
though. What you just said is just asking for the order.
You just got to ask for the order. Yeah. And it's like, well, how do you know what you're doing? And I'm like, I work with a team of people and I'll figure it out. Like I'm a really smart cookie.
Yeah.
And like, so I would lean on what I'm really good at.
Yeah.
I'm like, I went to Georgetown. I'm obviously smart. I like made a point to get my CFP at 3 years in exactly when I could hold myself out as one. My CFP, I tell people to this day, I'm like, that's the don't let the blonde hair fool you. You can't fake your way or like flirt your way through that exam.
That designation,
like, no, and it just has gotten harder as more time has gone on.
I speak a lot. And one of the main things I always say is you literally have to, if you're the professional, you have to tell them what to do.
Yes.
No one is just going to buy from you and you hope. You literally have to tell them, hey, here's my recommendation.
Yeah.
Here's what you should do.
Yeah. Well, and then it's just like anything. When you're learning anything, it's in real life, you can either just blindly go in and see what works, or you get some mentorship and coaching from someone else. And that's where I found there was like a lot of benefit of having a script initially, so we didn't have to think.
Yeah.
And then you adapt it as time goes on to your style. And in watching other people do meetings, I would adapt that more to my style. And then it just became me presenting a meeting. But what I created in my team now is a framework that the client's going to all get the same information, but it's presented in a different way depending on who's.
You have a blueprint. You have a consistent, repeatable process.
Yeah.
But you weren't trained that way when you started. Okay.
No, we had a script, and you just kind of stuck to the script, and then we had.
And you just learned on the fly and just probably shadowed top people and.
Yeah. It was a lot of just trial and error.
Yeah.
But again, not unlike when you end up at a Sunday shift at brunch at Old Glory in Georgetown that doesn't exist anymore, and you're short-staffed and you just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like you just figure it out and you just do your best.
That's one of our core pillars is resourcefulness.
Yeah.
Just figuring it out.
Yeah. And that's one of my unique abilities that in the strategic coach program, I literally paid someone to help me go through this exercise, and it was the coolest. And who the heck doesn't like learning more about themselves? Everyone loves that.
Yep.
But learning that that's one of my unique abilities, that I just naturally am attracted to being resourceful and being helpful and starting things before you need them, not out of fear or out of scarcity or I'm not like hoarding stuff. It's more like, I think this might be helpful at some point. I'm going to put it somewhere and just try to make systems it's easier to retrieve it. So when it comes up, I can start faster.
Yeah.
Instead of starting with zero.
Well, I'm going to keep us moving here.
Yeah.
So you're in that position.
I need people like you. Otherwise, I'm like, ooh.
You're in that position for how long?
As an advisor?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like in that position where you're outbound cold calling, just you, like what was the next step for you?
Yep. I did that for more or less 10 years.
10 years.
So I tried partnering formally teaming with some other advisors, but it kept being like 1 + 1 is 2.5.
Yeah.
And I think a good amount of it, there was one guy who on the surface, it's funny because he was Marines, and then there's me. And our leaders at the time just thought like, he's Marine, all put together, and Carolyn's kind of all over the place. But in reality, it was actually the opposite.
Yeah, it was flipped, yeah.
But we just could never really get in a groove. And I don't like managing people.
Yeah.
And he like really needed someone to help manage him.
But you have a team of 16 now, right?
Apples and oranges now to then. And then I also partnered, he ended up leaving the business. I then partnered with another friend, but we were too similar that we liked doing the same things. So 1 + 1 was like 2.5.
Right.
we ended up not ending on, none of this ever ended on bad terms, but I was like, that didn't seem to quite work. And then when I had an opportunity, it was from having my second kid. I now have 3. And it was after I had my second that our HR tried to make me take a maternity leave after no one's ever talked about leave. And I was like, whoa. I can't take a leave. Like, there's no one backing me up. They're like, your manager will back you up. My manager is out recruiting. That's not the role.
Yeah.
So what I realized is no one has this whole thing figured out. And this is kind of fucked up. And I actually met with the senior HR, tried to help them fix it, but I was like, they're obviously not going to fix it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on the independent side.
Yeah.
Because this is a problem. They're not going to listen. I can't control or influence it. So I'm just going to go to a different bucket.
So you were captive for what, 10 years?
10 years. Yep.
Then you transitioned independently.
Independent. And I'm at a firm. Ameriprise has 2 different platforms.
Yeah.
So, and there isn't, let me be clear, I don't think there's good, bad, better, worse.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons in everything.
Yeah.
And for me, like when I finally went on the independent side, like I'm an entrepreneur that just so happens to be a financial advisor.
Yeah.
But there's probably a handful of businesses in me that I just haven't started yet.
Yeah.
And I probably started in one of the harder ones. So that's where I feel like it was just such a gift to have learned like so much of the stuff I have. So again, it was just me. And I ended up hiring one in kind of like a half-time person. I ended up getting this huge space. And my husband was like, if you build it, they will come. Like, yeah, fuck it. Just get the space.
Yeah.
And at first, he was like, wait a second, Carolyn. I thought you were going to make way more money in this platform. And I'm like, give me like a year.
Yeah.
And it was at first like a whole, that whole J curve of change.
Yeah.
Like at first, it kind of sucks. And then it accelerated because I just kept moving it forward. But the initial change of going from someone deals with all that stuff. And again, the perfectionism kind of kicked back in.
Yeah.
And I was still doing a lot of the things because there was a huge disparity between my skill level and the folks that I had hired.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of those middle people that I elected a couple years into it to start doing the strategic coach program. And I joined their 10X program. Dan Sullivan was the coach.
After you went independent, how long till you joined strategic coach?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So initially it was pretty much a grind. Like I was making a lot more money, but it was still a grind. And I was like, this kind of sucks.
Strategic coach was transformative for you, right?
Transformative. Okay. Again, because I had a coach that I was just smart or dumb enough to just do what I was told.
Yeah.
And that's, again, a lot of my success early on. My leaders, Jason, Larry, would be like, all right, you got to book 14 appointments. And I was like, so what happens if I book 20? They're like, you'll be fine. And I was like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. I was like, how do I just make sure under no circumstance, not just do I not fail? I never considered that's even possible.
Yeah.
But I was like, how do I know I'm going to just kill it? Crush it. But then it comes in and the perfectionism isn't perfectionism anymore. One of my values on our team, the first one we talk about is high standards. And it's not to be confused with being a perfectionist, but it's like we want to deliver excellent service for awesome people.
Yeah.
So how do we do that within reason? Like what's a reasonable goal to have when you have 1.5 people and you're starting a new independent platform and you have 2 kids under 3?
Yeah.
And then you get pregnant again. You're like, oh God. And actually, my 3rd pregnancy, I miscarried at 19 weeks.
Oh, man.
Like, you don't wish that on your worst enemy.
Yeah.
But a lot of like the crappy things that happen in life actually just taught me like things that I otherwise couldn't have been taught, of just like being human and being seen and being connected and just being real with people.
Yeah.
And I found that beyond like success, financial success, I found that it was so important for me to feel connected with the people that I was working with and the clients that we were working for. And like that whole humanity part, that just brought that in, that I was like, part of why I love what I do is I have this genuine connection with the people, again, that work for me and that are hiring us to do work for them.
Yeah.
So that was pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talk to us a little bit more about strategic coach, though.
Yeah.
Because you touched on that last night, Dan Sullivan.
Yeah.
Who Not How. He wrote that book, right?
Actually, the book is by Ben Hardy.
Okay, with Dan Sullivan.
With Dan Sullivan, yeah. And Ben was also, or is, I'm not even sure, a participant in the program as well.
Yeah.
But Ben is the author, and he's like, Dan, I want to just like capture all these concepts into like a long form. Because what Dan does is every quarter he writes a short book.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like a long paper.
Yeah.
It's not really a book. But it's great because it's digestible and it just gets you thinking.
Yeah.
thinking about your thinking is a huge
Yeah.
part of that program. And strategic coach is basically, it's like a therapist for entrepreneurs.
You had two, it was you and another employee at that time, right?
It was me and 2 people at the time.
Okay.
Yep.
And then how many people on your team present day?
Currently at 16, we were up to 20, and we actually are doing a bit of addition by subtraction.
Yep.
And just looking at making sure it's not even like, oh, we're firing people. That's not it. It's more of like, here's the need that we have. And people honestly saying, is that actually what I want to do? And for some people, it's like, no, that's not what I want to do. I'm like, that's totally fine, but that's really what we need.
Yeah.
And no one's leaving on bad terms, but it's always weird when there's changes on the team.
Absolutely.
As much as like, 16, it's like a lot, but it's actually really small still.
Yeah.
We're micro, we're baby. Like we're still wearing multiple hats, of course. But there's more you can get done. Like once you get to double-digit number of people, there's a whole dynamic shift that happens of like how things get communicated, what's even possible. And that's where it's so important that you really start to diversify the type of people and what they're doing, or you're really not going to make many strides. Yeah. Whether it's your internal team or externally, like how you're diversifying the people.
And just having other people reporting to other people. And I mean, that's the main thing is once you get past that 10, it's impossible for all 10 people to report to you.
Yeah. Never mind the fact that I quickly learned I hated that part.
Yeah.
And so we ended up so I first did strategic coach, and the program that I joined within strategic coach, the goal was to have a self-managing company.
Yep. That's why you went to strategic coach.
That's why I did it. Because I was like, oh my gosh, I can see the writing on the wall. If I keep down this path, I'll be very successful, but I'm going to be a total slave to the business. Yeah. And most advisors are.
Yeah.
And
most advisors are a solo practice or maybe
not even so much that, but they don't have a lot of freedom of time.
Yeah.
And not necessarily freedom of relationship of who they engage with throughout the day. And they're seeing 40 meetings a week. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So how do I create a practice that, again, is going to be... The other part that I didn't like in our industry was I saw a lot of teams that the advisor and the owners were really successful and getting a great deal. But the rest of the team, it was like, I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want something that there's a team that there's a growth trajectory regardless of your position on the team. There's opportunity for equity, maybe for everybody. And now I'm like, no, it's not for everybody, but for like more tenured, higher level, not just advisors. But I want there to be growth opportunities for everyone. And that we do.
People kind of see themselves ascending in your company, in your
model. Yeah, that we actually have like a similar framework and mindset, and that the flexibility that I have also works for my team. Maybe not exactly the same. That's just like probably unreasonable. But I found that there was, again, this huge gap between the expectations of the owner advisor and anyone else that worked for them. And I'm like, this just feels too far apart. There's got to be a better way to do this. Yep. And it was just through a lot of the strategic coach folks weren't telling me exactly what to do, but they were framing great questions of how to think about the problem differently that helped me to get on a path that led to something new instead of staying on the same path and just being frustrated and just venting. But I think that's what a lot of our peers do, is they go to like therapy versus coaching. Yeah. Therapy is oftentimes just venting and rehashing the past.
What did you say last night? Therapy or coaching is therapy for entrepreneurs?
Well, this is where strategic coach is basically therapy for entrepreneurs. Yeah. But it's therapy paired with coaching.
Yeah, yeah.
Coaching is going to help you. How do you get onto a new path? How do you start something different? Or how do you intentionally understand that what you're doing is the right path? And so that's where, like, how do you just filter through different options intentionally? And that's where what I loved about that program was finally I was in an environment that it wasn't just financial people. Yeah. That is mostly men, mostly a lot of big egos. Yeah. Especially in financial services. Yeah. And I found that in those rooms, like, no one ever really wanted to talk about their weaknesses. They only wanted to talk about their flexes.
Everybody wanted to boast and
Yeah, and I was just like, this is not helpful. Yeah. Instead of hearing from a group of your peers, like, I'm having that problem too, I'm having that problem too. And then finding someone, and like, we're all there to help each other or to hear each other out, or it was just a totally different environment I'd never been in before. I wasn't even seeking it. I was just throwing shit in the wall and seeing what stuck. Yeah. But it was from one of my financial advisor women peers who was like, I did this program. It was flipping awesome.
That was my question.
And she referred me to them years prior. Yeah. But it was only then that I was
And how long was that program?
It's a year at a time that
Yep.
you engage. And I've been in the program every single year except 1 year.
Yep.
And purely because I decided to do another coaching program I wanted to try. And I was like, I can only do so many of these programs and like actually be home for my kids sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it was a lot of travel to the site.
Yeah.
And the experience just was great in person. Though they had remote options, I preferred the in-person.
Yeah.
Yep. But I'm already back there.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a big deal. I mean, we talk about it all the time is like, just if you want to do something you've never done before, you find the who,
Yeah.
right? And they're going to show you how. And it sounds like that's what happened
Yeah.
in your situation.
Yeah. And that's where even now, like there's a lot of my financial advisor peers and others that will ask me like for advice on certain things. And I will ask them like, have you ever done strategic coach? And if they're like, no, I'm like, we can talk, but that's my best suggestion. I don't get like some commission for sending people there, but I'm like, we're going to be speaking a different language. And then if they have 10 team members or more, I'm like, are you running on EOS? It's an entrepreneurial operating system that I also was introduced to through Strategic Coach because they have the same client.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, if someone is in Strategic Coach or they're running on EOS, then I can actually talk with them because I'm like, okay, in our L10, we blah, 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 blah. So we're already
Speak
speaking
the language.
Yeah. So that's like my sweet spot is to even provide, like I can tell my story.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can only really directly impact people that are probably already running on that because otherwise they'll end up in some roadblock that I'm like, yeah, we don't have that issue because we run on EOS and we do this.
Yeah.
But we've created a lot of bespoke ways that we even implement those parts.
If you could condense all of what you learned there, like what are the key things that have morphed or shifted or transformed because of that? Like what did you learn in a nutshell that transformed your business?
Having systems for freaking everything.
Everything.
Yeah, having systems and filters so you don't have to think. I think there's so many, and I think it's also a lot of the stuff we created was that we found that when I was also, again, trying to have freedom from the practice, so I don't work with clients anymore, not because I'm above it, but like you do something for 18 years and you want to do something different.
Yeah.
Like most people don't do the same thing forever and ever.
Yeah.
I happen to randomly be at the same parent company. That's just by chance.
Yeah.
And it's good. So I'm kind of like, if it ain't broke. Ugh.
Yeah, this is my first time in 9 and 10 years not selling to the consumer. And again, it's just because it's my focus is better served elsewhere, not because I think I shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Just running for something different. But it was a real problem when I was trying to train the other advisors and they're like, how do you remember all this shit? And I'm like, I don't even know because I've done it a million times. But I was like, man, how do I get the information that's in my head and even the framework that's in my head in a scalable way that I can teach them so they can then implement it as well, whether that's their skill set or not. And as we created these systems for ourselves, I was like, man, these are some systems we can offer to other people, advisors and beyond. That is, again, it's a next business kind of thing that we haven't even started yet. But we solved the problems for us, and then we found like these would be really helpful for others.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But have you brought those on to others? I still haven't gathered that yet. You're toying with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, no. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when.
So your gut's telling you that you'll get into the consulting or coaching space.
Yes.
And kind of share your IP that you've developed in your systems and processes.
Yeah. The big question is like, who do we want to be a hero to?
Yeah.
So just like in our financial advice team, it was only in the last couple of years that we didn't create like a firm,
who do we
definite,
want to be a hero to?
Is a Dan Sullivanism too, of like, I can help anybody, but I don't actually want to help, and I don't want to have, and my team doesn't want to have, and our unique ability isn't. So even like, let's say you're a college kid right out of school, I can totally help you, but I'm kind of like bored having this conversation at a certain point because I'm really good at these like weird, complex. But I can help you, and I'd love to give you some inspirational ideas, but I'd rather talk to a group of you and your peers.
Yeah.
And then you're on your way.
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep having that conversation. That's just not exciting for me.
Yeah.
So it's like, where is there a win-win that we're engaged in conversations that we're uniquely capable to offer that we also recognize like many of our industry peers don't know how to do.
Yeah.
Like I've been in a bunch of weird real estate stuff, not by plan design. It's not because I studied it. It's because I lived it and did it. You know, there was like in 2021, there were 8 real estate transactions we did, including like 2 reverse 1031 exchanges. We were in the process of renovating a house. Again, it's COVID.
These are personal transactions.
Yeah. And like, so then when you're doing advice in like, you're a coach consultant for your advice clients too. Like, unless you've done it, you don't really understand the practical things that you need to think about, the kind of team that you need to develop, like how to proactively get different ducks in a row. Unless you've done it, you can only give such great advice. It can only go so far.
Well, I mean, you went from 2 to 16 team members right now. What are the key pieces that you brought in over the last, what is this? Your team's grown to like this in the last, 5-6 years or?
Yeah, the better part of the last handful of years. It's really the infrastructure.
Yeah.
And for me, it's been really frustrating because it took, like, I know, like, just like Dan Sullivan says, like, no goal is too big. It's usually your time frame is too short.
Yep.
So, like, I can say, I'm a size 6. I want to be a size 2. It's, like, totally fine. But if I'm like, I want to get there next week, it's like, okay. Let's be realistic. And the other question is, like, how sustainable do you want it to be? So what kind of decisions do you want to make? So me and my now business partner, Jen, understood we wanted to create a self-managing company that was going to last beyond our existence in it. Yeah. So we would have that option if that's something we wanted to do at some point. We also understood that we wanted to make sure it was an attractive something and anticipate the questions that, like, awesome candidates who want to work at the company are going to be looking for.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure, it's beyond, like, the benefit itself. So let's just give an example. Like, we have an unlimited out of office, like, vacation policy, but you can't just have that in itself and expect it to work.
Right.
So how do you have it structured that you can see with the team, across the team, how do you have visibility easily of who's out when, how many days have they taken or not? Because as much as a problem of someone taking too much vacation, it's not about they're taking too much vacation, it's they're not getting their shit done.
Yeah.
Or the other problem is people that aren't getting away enough.
Yeah.
So there was one of our team members that when she joined us, she was like, I haven't taken a vacation since my honeymoon.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And so it's just like, a lot of it is like unlearning a lot of what we've been socialized to do, but you can't just rip the Band-Aid and go in the other direction without any structure of it. Yeah. And what we found was that things that we thought would take a week to solve took us like 4 months of intentionally focusing on it. It probably wasn't our unique ability to solve it, but I'm like, I don't know who else is solving it, so I guess it's us because we want it and need it for us. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff that you wouldn't believe how hard it is until you're in the situation. And then you're like, oh, right, this doesn't work.
Yeah, you're forced to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of our systems that we put in place were because shit wasn't working right.
Yeah.
Right? And you're forced to do that. So going back to that question, who are the key hires or what are the key positions like to build an automated business? So
yeah.
You have a self-running business right now.
Yep.
You're here in Nashville. Your business is growing. Your team's killing it. Like, what are those key positions that allowed that to happen?
Yeah. So the most impactful one for me in our hiring process was our integrator, that in other words is our COO, that her role within our entrepreneurial organization is to take what from me can be very confusing and simplify it and make it clear. So she's like a translator of what Carolyn is really saying is. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that. Yeah. So I'm a multiplier. She's a simplifier.
Yeah. I like that. Multiplier, simplifier.
Yeah, also a Dan Sullivanism. My unique strength is more, and not just my strength, but what I love doing is going, wouldn't it be cool if, and inventing stuff. Well, I like inventing stuff, but then I don't enjoy, as you go down the docket, this is from Working Genius, which is like an amazingly simple assessment. And like, it's actually so tangible for people to understand. And they talk about it as these different gears. Like you go from the person that says, what if we, to then creating something, inventing something. And then you go into the discerning, is this even worth our time or money to get into? And then you go into galvanizing and getting the people on board with it. My integrator is awesome at that. Yeah. So prior to having her, I was doing all these parts of the gear. And what I now recognize and can see clearly in hindsight is as I went along in a project, I was burning out because I was getting more and more into the shit I hated doing. Yeah.
Whereas the integrator role relieves you of that.
Everyone on our team is doing, because her primary thing is the middle part. Yeah. Which is discernment and galvanizing. Yeah. And she's galvanizing and then leading the people to do.
Yeah, really triage.
Getting it, and they get it over the finish line. Yep. There's some people that are great at, I'll do whatever we ask to be done. They call it enablement, which sounds kind of shitty. Maybe they can come up with a better word. But there's people and there's a good amount of people on our team that are just like, if that's what has to be done, I just do that. Like my ego's not too big for that. And then there's the tenacity, the people that get over the finish. And when I was a new advisor, and for the first 5 years, I had to do all those things. But I was just like, I understand, and my leaders helped me understand, you're going to do this for like about 5 years. And then the rest of your life, you're going to live a life that everyone wants, but no one's willing to do the first 5 years consistently. And I was just dumb or smart enough to do it.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. I feel like I'm at the back half of those 5 years that no one wants.
Yeah? Yeah. What do you mean? Say more.
Just to get to the years that no one gets to live, you have to put in those years that no one wants to live as well. And I feel like I'm at the back half of this thing almost running completely on its own. Yeah. But it's taken those years to get there.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is too, like the first 80% is like those first 5 years, but then to get it, because my goal isn't like 100%, but it's high standard. My goal is just feel high standard. And as we up-leveled like the clients that we were working for and the team members that we were hiring, it kept raising the bar. Yeah. So there was just more and more to do. And so again, then it became, how do I ideally get tasked with the things that are only my unique ability? And under the EOS system, I'm responsible, or like I have ownership of nothing per se. The integrator does. Yep. And my job is to kind of just like ideate and think of stuff and communicate that and maintain the biggest relationships and just keep a close toggle on that stuff. But in terms of the doing, it's not really me. Yeah. And I think that's really hard for a lot of people to understand. And it doesn't mean if someone's visionary that they're good at it.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yep.
There's a lot of people that's their strength, but they shouldn't be leading the company. Yeah. But the proof is in the pudding of what you create. Yeah. And I think for a lot of people, like even right now, if someone asks me like, what's your day to day or what do you do? It's like really hard for me to explain to you like what I do. You'd have to ask someone on my team. Yeah. I think it's a lot because it's things that when it's your unique ability, you discount things. You're like, it's just this thing. It's like, yeah, and most people don't do that.
Yeah, most people couldn't do that.
Like you can put me in front of a room with 1,000 people right now and ask me to give an hour-long talk about any topic. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. No problem.
Let it rip.
And I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah, like 99% of people can do that.
Yeah. And I'll start a little shaky and it may not be perfect, but I'm like, most people wouldn't want to do that. Yeah. I'm like, I have no problem doing that. Or getting in front of someone and asking for the check. No problem.
I mean, just like this podcast. I mean, we didn't know each other 24 hours ago, and we're just letting it rip off the cuff here. So
I'm like, it won't be boring. No. I don't know what we'll talk about, but it won't be boring.
Exactly.
Loved or hated, never ignored. That's me.
So integrator's a big position. Anything else?
Huge. I think the big thing that we have, again, we run on EOS, and one of the things is you have a scorecard. That everyone has a number. Everyone has something they're tracking. So it's like what's the health of the company?
A metric that they're accountable for?
Something that they're accountable for and that they're actively tracking and reporting that everyone can see. So it gives you an ability to anticipate where maybe we have problems, where may we have some numbers that come later from the results of what we're doing now. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is super important. And we have metrics in every department that we report every single day.
Yep. Yeah. And then continuing to change those. So over time, there's something that you're like, we always reported that. Is that actually helpful?
Is it necessary? I say it all the time. Are we reporting things that no one cares about or doesn't actually matter?
Yeah. So it's like constantly it's just tending to the garden. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of times people misunderstand, like, oh, you make it look easy at a certain point. And it's like, well, because we're constantly doing these little things every day. And there's certain things we don't do. Like it's rare that now we have these major fires we get to put out. Yeah. Because we have so many systems and infrastructure and checks and balances and people that are cross-trained and that support each other and even how we communicate. And we have things that are followed by all. There's not every team member doing their own system. That doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a very specific framework. We call it Optimize, Amplify, Scale. You optimize your internal systems and processes. Yep. You amplify it with marketing and advertising. Yep. And you scale it with people. Yep. And it sounds easy when I just said that right there, right? But actually doing that is it's
a grind.
It's a grind and such a much bigger blueprint than 3 words.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, when you have it dialed in, it does look easy, but when you break it apart, it's taken years to develop and perfect that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think the other thing is for people to understand, it's never done. No. And that's not like a bad thing. That's if anything, I would hope that that's an inspiring thing. That's
part of the game.
When there's a better way, like we're going to pursue the better way, but we're going to take our folks that are more discerning to go, is the time to make a change now? Is it a big change? Is it a small change? Are we better off staying the course? Do we put it on something to revisit next quarter or just later? Or is it something we actually should look at now? So what I found was in implementing EOS, like first was strategic coach, but then I would have been screwed had we not implemented EOS because I had just idea lists and thoughts that were all in one big clusterfuck of a list.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of visionaries are like. And it gave me an infrastructure to organize it and also not overwhelm my team.
Yeah.
So there's a parking spot for all those things, but also got it off my brain. So one of the best things that we've done over the years is we don't use our brains as computers. Like we don't try to store information because it also takes away from the team. If you have an idea, put it on a thing that everyone can see because someone else may be like, hey, who wrote this thing? That's interesting. Can you tell me more about it?
So you have like a central location where it's a parking lot for ideas and everybody can see it.
Yeah.
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 And do you feel like everybody on your team feels comfortable putting ideas and things on there?
It takes practice.
Yeah.
It takes practice because a lot of it too is people getting trust in one another. And if they've never been in that environment, that's hard. And even if you're new to the team, that's hard.
Yeah.
You know? So even I can imagine someone that's been in the industry forever, but they're new to this culture or this club or this family community, like that can be intimidating.
Yeah.
So it takes people time.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, for people to actually feel comfortable being creative and putting their ideas out there, they have to have trust and confidence and probably some time.
Yeah. What I actually found was really interesting was that COVID gave a better platform for some of the more behind the scenes introverted people to speak. And it also gave it, when you have this like, Brady Bunch screen and there's like one box that's constantly talking and you're like, I haven't heard from that box. It's like, hey, what do you think? Yeah. It just like, I don't know. It just made it more obvious that we wanted to pull some information from other people and it also forced them to kind of practice. So it's just about trial and error and seeing what works.
Yeah. So you've got a self-sustaining running business right now, right?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable sharing any numbers over what your business does, or are we going to leave that off there?
No, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, we do about $5 million in production a year, most of which is recurring. Yeah. So what's really exciting...
When you say $5 million in production in your world, what does that mean?
So, so we get a certain payout from the firm. Yeah. We produce, it's 91% from the firm of the $5 million we produce. Then we manage our own P&L from there. And what's really great is that most of it is recurring. So the market goes down, it's going to go down. Yeah. But we also do planning. So there's already some diversification of how we get paid, whether it's insurance, investments, even what types of investments, transactional versus recurring revenue from managed accounts. But what's nice is we don't have to every single month think about like, shit, we're starting at zero again. Yeah. Like that doesn't happen. Yeah. Yeah. So what we've done the last 5 years, my business partner and I basically looked at each other as the things started getting bigger. We bought some practices, and that's when we had to hire more people. But we were looking at it, and we were like, there's a lot of these clients that aren't the ideal client that we want to be working with. And like, they're nice people. So we were like, how do we find a way to get them to another advice practice that's just more suitable for their case with people that also give a shit and really like them and are going to give them the care that we're going to give. Yeah. So they feel like cared for in this process, but give us our capacity back to just focus on the people that we want on the bus for our planning purposes. Yeah. And then in terms of what's next, like we're just continuing to get more into these higher net worth cases. Yeah. So some of it, and people sometimes misunderstand that, the higher the net worth, the more revenue. Not necessarily. We actually, in our own internal systems, found that it wasn't our highest asset case. It was actually the tier below that we had our biggest ROI from like an hourly rate. So that was really interesting. I did not expect that.
So what is your ideal client or the best suitable person for you?
Our sweet spot is between 10 and 25 million. Yeah. That's like our sweet spot. And then beyond that, very profitable, but our sweet spot is the 10 to 25.
Yeah. And why do you think that is?
They really have more of a planning need. Yeah. Like a traditional planning need that we provide. That's it just happens to be what we do really well.
Yeah. And you mentioned you have over 600 million under management. Yep. Right? Yep. And what's next?
I mean, what's next? Ideally, we're starting to share a lot of what we learned internally for our team of what worked for us. Yep. And this is from not just the founder, owner, equity owner, but also for the other team members of how do you have a great practice not just in financial services, but all entrepreneurial companies. So part of the idea is how do we share what we learned with others that are in strategic coach and run on EOS that want to do that next level stuff, that don't want to solve all the shit that we took a ton of time to solve. So how do we share it with them? And then from there, it becomes like this organic process that we're then working with from a coaching consulting, if it's within the firm, opportunities for mergers, acquisitions, or just other conversations that we're otherwise not having with these people. That's just fun. Outside of the firm, bringing in outside practices in, because at a certain point, some people are like, I see how that system works. I just don't want to manage it. You obviously have it figured out.
Right.
So we're looking for more people that value what we value, that understand the kind of practice that we run and that we want to continue to do, the types of clients we work with who are capable and wanting to also do that.
Have you started to see that, people trying to dig into there like, hey?
Yeah, they try to pick our brain and they're like, can you give me like an hour? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, not because I'm unwilling, but I'm like, we're not even scratching the surface on even what the problem is. Like, you don't even know what your problem is yet. And I think that's where we were just really good at identifying the problem. And again, it's a less traditional like success in our industry that we found the freedom of time that a lot of our peers don't have.
Yeah.
But still being in a growth oriented, like we now have a platform that can sustain, but we can take on a ton of clients in a scalable way. Whereas before it was more helter skelter. Yeah. Not so much for the advisor, but for everyone that had to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about leadership? Talk to me a little bit about leadership. I mean, what have you found out about, what would you give advice to people that are going into leadership and what it takes and what you've learned?
Not all leaders are necessarily the top producers.
Yeah.
I think that often when you are one of the top people, whether you're the top of your class or you're the biggest salesperson, people are like, you should be a leader and teach everyone else. That's not necessarily what they want to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes the leader is the more quiet person. It like takes time for people to sometimes gravitate to the more quiet ones. Yeah. And that's what we actually found in our team. And a lot of our teammates initially with my business partner, Jen, because she had less production than I did when we started working together. It was kind of just assumed Carolyn's the leader of the advisors. And Jen we have totally different styles.
So she's probably a little more reserved, it sounds like.
She's everything you describe of me, Jen is the opposite.
Yeah, which is why you guys are great partners.
I'm super warm. She's more cold.
Yeah.
I'm really loud. She's more quiet.
Yeah.
We're both actually very to the point.
Yeah.
But I can talk more, not intentionally, but I'll talk more around a thing.
Yeah. Not
because I am avoiding it, but I'll use more words to explain myself, and she's just really to the point.
You're just warmer with your.
I'm warmer.
Yeah.
So. It took a lot of learning for people to also like trust Jen from a place of leadership and value her as the leader.
Yeah.
So it's more of like, do you have a desire? And I think that's where until you've done it, sometimes you don't know. So when I was a newer advisor, like in the first couple of years, because they would, in terms of part of how you learn how to be better is by teaching stuff.
Yeah.
But I quickly found like 6 months into coaching other advisors, oh my God, I hate doing this.
Yeah.
And they're like, we were so good at it. I'm like, but I so hate it. I don't want to do it.
If it doesn't fulfill you, it becomes very complicated.
I don't want to do it. So I think that's one of the questions I always bring to people is like, not just think about what you unapologetically want, but some of it is you need to try it on to decide if you, like one of my old leaders would say, like, don't decide if you like something or not until you're good at it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm good at that. I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do
it.
And
that's the opposite for me is, I mean, when I left coaching professionally, I thought I was giving up on a big part of my life, but now I just coach insurance agents. So it's very fulfilling for me.
Exactly.
But it's just a different vehicle. I mean, doing it.
And even like you start to get more nuanced as more time goes on, and you recognize like in part of going through the unique ability exercise I did with Strategic Coach, I recognized I get a lot of energy. Like I love doing one-to-one stuff, but I would never want to coach someone one-to-one.
Yeah. All of the coaching I do is one-to-many.
Yeah, one-to-many is where I get energy.
Exactly.
And what I was finding, once I understood that, I was like, oh, that's in part why I don't like the financial planning part. But there's other people that are like, oh my God, I'd rather be like poked in the eyeball with a blunt object than be talking to a group of people.
And it's the complete opposite. I mean, I feel like I get fulfilled by delivering a message, the message that I believe in to 30, 40, 50 people at once.
And that's where I think sometimes people think too much about like what's the most profitable. And I'm like, no. And we say this to our clients too. When they come in for their financial plan now, I'm like, and they're like, let me show you all the numbers. And I'm like, please don't.
Yeah.
What are we actually trying to accomplish? Yeah. And sometimes they will still be like, I'm trying to get this return. And I'm like, that's actually not the question. Like, what does life look like? And I'm not trying to sell you.
Yeah.
I was initially taught you ask those questions to sell people a thing.
Yeah.
I actually need to understand your lens of the world. So when we're talking about your numbers, we can give proper context if it's realistic or not.
And that's the first thing we teach is you have to understand the person in front of you.
Yeah.
If they do not feel understood, you will never close the deal correctly.
And I think that's where too, what I've found is as I've gone through more and more life, whether it's friends, whether it's mentoring people, coaching, if someone isn't self-aware, it's just not a good fit for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want to tell you something. Like if you tell me, give me any reflection, I can't think of the last time, if ever, that someone said something in terms of a reflection or just feedback to me that I didn't already know.
Yeah.
I may have been like, screw you, don't say that to me. But I'm like, I know.
Yeah. You know in the heart of hearts.
Yeah. Even if I'm not admitting it, I'm like, I know. But people that are surprised with feedback, like that's not a good spot for me. But there's a need for someone to do that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a need for everything. So it's like figure out like your sweet spot. But in the beginning when you're new, like drop your ego and throw a bunch of shit on the wall.
Yeah.
And when you're really, really new, it takes some time. Like you do get some quarters that you're grossly successful. But I remember after the first year of having like a really good year, but 75% of my earnings were in the last quarter of the year. And then I, without being aware of it, took my foot off the gas, or not completely, but enough that my results started going down. And I was like, shit, what's happening? And Jason, who we both know, my leader at the time, literally had a deck that was ready to go. And he just went through his PowerPoint and he just clicked it. Because he's like, this is what everyone does. Like, you're not the first, you're not going to be the last. Of people that just stop doing what needs to be done. And again, it just takes longer of doing more of the activities. I was like, I thought I was done with this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, this year we took a step back to hire key leadership and key people, and it was a net loss in the first quarter.
Yes.
And end of the year, we had the best year we've ever had in one quarter.
Yeah.
So we had to take a giant step backwards to take a leap forward. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to do that.
Yeah. And it's still a bet. It's not like a guarantee. But from having studied some change, and it was someone that brought in a change manager, an expert. I can't remember if it wasn't COVID. It was before COVID. But the firm was going through some massive changes. So they brought someone in to speak about change. And they talk about the J curve, like the Nike swoosh of change. That you're on, like you're on the top of this mountain and you want to get to this next peak. And the only way is first you got to climb down.
Yeah.
And then you got to climb back up.
Yeah.
And our team right now, we're looking at what we've done, not just from a feelings perspective, but our numbers are almost exactly in the same spot as they were 3 years ago. But if you're not in our team, you don't realize that our average revenue per client has like doubled or tripled.
You just said my favorite words, revenue per client. That is like what I preach, teach, and coach on more than anything.
Yeah.
You can optimize your revenue per client.
Yeah.
It can absolutely change your business.
Yeah. And it's not just for scale. It's again, recognizing those different freedoms that I want for everybody, not just the owner advisor, but my team members too.
Yeah.
And people have lives outside of their work.
Yeah.
And I believe the more that you can honor that, if I have the flexibility to go to my kid's game, I want my team members to as well.
Yeah.
But they have to understand it doesn't mean you owe me an hour, but it's like you might need to give some more time somewhere else to finish what you got to finish. Yeah. But I'm not going to babysit you.
Yeah.
Like I don't babysit
At the
people.
end of the day, you're responsible for your job.
You're responsible for what you're responsible for.
Yeah. And if you want to be a part of your family, that's great. But there may be some different times or some weird hours that you have to compensate for that.
Yeah.
Type of deal.
So, and that's where I think, again, it's really challenging to give people good coaching or leadership. So I just share stories of it's trial and error. Like there's sometimes you realize in hindsight, and you have to do an honest assessment. Like whether it's like think of something more tangible, like you've gained some weight. Yeah. And you're like, well, did I gain weight because I'm getting older? Did I gain weight because I've actually changed what I eat or don't eat, or my habit or my sleep cycle and you have to like do an honest assessment. And usually it's more at your fingertips than you realize. But it's those little things that you're like, do condiments count? They do.
It's typically
eating off someone else's plate. There actually are calories in that bite.
or the cookie on the middle of the table last night.
Oh, it was so good.
Oh, it was great.
It's so good.
Great.
I was not counting calories last night.
I always say it's a you versus you problem. I mean, nine, it's either you or who. You're the problem, or you haven't connected with the right person or vehicle to get you there.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to.
And I think that's where I found the most freedom. And some, not just financial advisors, but just business owners are like, how do I just have the leanest, lowest expense? And I don't think of it that way. I might be the other extreme, but like I'm happy to pay for the freedom for someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Whether it's like Instacart or Uber or I don't know. I'm like, I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I will, we've got a Mexican restaurant 10 minutes away. I'm like, I will deliver that all day long.
Yeah. No, it's just not me. And actually, there's some things like an Instacart. I'm like, if I go to the grocery store, like I have shiny object syndrome, and like, I'm like, oh, let's get this. Oh, let's get this. Let's get this. And I get home and I'm like, what did I buy?
That's the entrepreneur getting bored you get put in a place and you get bored and you don't come there with a plan. Well, you leave with things you never expected.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's like also just from having kids, and you all of a sudden had like before kids, you had so much time. Yeah. And then you're like, like never mind time is squeezed, but like kids aren't predictable exactly. Yeah. And then it gets easier but harder when they get older.
Yeah.
You know, so there's pros and cons. There's no good, bad, better, worse.
I'm still wading my way through that.
Yeah.
So we're going to transition kind of out of this thing.
Sure.
Go more to the fire round and get to know you a little more personally as we wind down here.
Okay.
What are you most proud of to this point?
Oh, my kids. Yeah. It's like the coolest thing I've ever done. Yeah. Like you look, and again, like having had the experience of a miscarriage that I never even thought it was even like possible, that then when everything works out exactly the way it should, you just realize how incredibly special and amazing. Like I grew humans inside of me. Yeah. It's really amazing.
Yeah, my wife is 7 months pregnant right now. And like when you really stop and think about that, there's a human being inside you.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. And when you think of like leadership, like the people I most want to influence are my kids.
Or your children.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest, but the most encouraging, inspiring. But they still think I'm like a loser and I know nothing. Yeah. Especially because they're teenagers now, some of them. Yeah. And they're like, okay, mom. I'm like, I'm actually really good at this. Yeah. People pay me for this. Yeah. They're like, whatever.
It's exciting right now because my daughter is like, she's been like a mom. I would say pretty more mom than dad. And now she's 4 or 5 and I can see the transition happening. Yeah. We got back from Florida. I said, what was your favorite part about Florida, babe? And she said, Daddy. And I'm like, okay, here we go. I'm like, here we go. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm done for. I'm done for. What's the best advice you ever received?
Who, not how.
Yeah.
Who, not how. That was also the most freeing. Yeah. Of if you're not like psyched. So whenever you're saying, how do I don't know. Yeah. It's not for you. Yeah. And sometimes it has to be. Like in different positions, like there's no one else around or whatever, but it's like a great filter to go, is there someone else that is better suited to do this? Whether it's a person, a technology, a method, or does it even need to be done? Are you tasking yourself with nonsense? Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And that's Dan Sullivan. Dan Sullivan.
Yeah. I really feel like I need to investigate that.
I'll introduce you. Yeah. I'll connect you after this.
Any books or anything that you're big on, or podcasts or anything?
So one of my favorite books from the very beginning was the Checklist Manifesto in terms of like organizing the systems. Yeah. And that's like the math science nerd of me, but also it's like a really interesting read. It's a short read. It's written by a doctor, Atul Gawande, who I think is a Harvard doctor. I want to say he's from Boston. I could totally be making that up. Yeah. But the Checklist Manifesto paired with the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss. Yeah. It's more about just like efficiency. And I was reading those things when the practice was booming, but like my time management sucked. Yeah. And I was just like, I'm doing really well, but like my ROI when I look at how much time I'm doing this isn't that impressive. Yeah. It's just not that great. And those were books that I think gave great framework and mindset for the team as well.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about, you touched, like I could tell there was like a hot button. You said you kind of lost it all at one point, right? But there's been some low points in your life.
In my family?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. I mean, talk about you just coming back from failure. I mean, I assume you've had some big failures in your life. What have those been?
Yeah. I mean, the failures for me personally of something that I did I honestly can't think of anything, and it's not because I haven't had failures, but I don't take them
You don't look at it as a failure.
I don't like think of it that way.
Yeah.
I don't process it that way. I think of more of like, what are life events that happen that are out of your control?
What's been the most challenging things for you?
Yeah, I mean, things that were challenging for sure. The hardest thing was the disruption of my family.
Yep.
When I was like 24. The divorce of my parents wasn't an issue, but recognizing there were certain things that were happening that it was like this perception and reality that was really disruptive. And going from you think that your family's this and then they're not, like it's a really weird thing to navigate.
Yeah.
And for like a good year, I was trying to fix everything. And I was also being tasked to fix everything because I was just the oldest. And it took me the better part of a year to finally put some boundaries in place and say, I can't actually help anyone unless I help myself and take care of myself first.
Yeah.
And it became like my motivator. No one was asking me to be like, to save everyone. But I was like, I have the ability to do some like really meaningful stuff.
Yeah.
But if I continually focus on everyone else's problems and trying to fix them, I can't help myself. And if I don't help myself, I can't impact this entire family in a bigger, more meaningful way. So it was probably like the better part of a year that I was just like really upset. And then I kind of got sick of my own shit and was like, all right, dude, like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah. You versus you.
Yeah. But when I look at that, it, like I've been asked before, like, so do you feel like once you know that you can do it faster? And the answer is honestly not necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I think like we're human beings, we're not robots. It's not for lack of information or the wherewithal, but sometimes you got to give yourself some grace and space and time to like mourn.
Yeah.
Whether it was the miscarriage, the change of my family dynamic, a ton of uncertainty. And then even with like the miscarriage, it was devastating. And then at the same time, like brought me and my teammates and my family and other women that have gone through that together in a more meaningful way, especially because I'm not someone that hides stuff, but people have only heard of like so many successes at that point that then when I was sharing something that wasn't like my fault per se, but like really shitty news, but I was very open with it. It was also encouraging for others that they didn't have to hide their bad news.
Yeah.
And that wasn't like my goal. I was just being genuine.
Yeah.
But it's when you start to see how that ends up helping you and others, it encourages you to do it more. Instead of, I think sometimes people misunderstand positivity as like, oh, everything's just great in your world. And I'm like, no, but that's kind of where I choose to focus on.
Yeah.
Like there's like, you want to ask me what's bad, I'll tell you what's bad.
Yeah.
But when you ask me, is my whole world shit right now? I'm like, no, but it's challenging.
Yeah.
But you can just put it in different perspective as more time goes on.
Yeah. And that's not where you choose to put your mental space, is focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes and some days and some months at a time, I'm going through divorce right now.
Yeah.
It's very not fun.
Yeah.
But again, recognizing the benefit of the self-managing company that was never for this purpose, and also seeing the humanity and leadership of other people on my team who I've been there for when they've had life stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, you do you and do what you got to do and we're good.
Yeah.
And they're extending that back to me. It's like a very human experience. It's really beautiful to witness.
Yeah. You're best served to lead who you once were. And it sounds like you're doing that right now.
It's neat.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you talked a little bit too about your sobriety over the last couple of years. I mean, it just seems like you're constantly on that self-improvement journey as well.
Yeah. So I am very competitive and I like to be the best at most things I do. And I was the best drinker. I was a really, really good drinker. Yeah. And like my kids at a certain point, like they start making caricature pictures of you and like they would draw me holding a glass of wine. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, this isn't good. Yeah. And it started also as like our practice grew. It's like the consequences were just getting bigger. Yeah. Like I could really fuck this up of doing something really stupid. Yeah. Because you drop your guard and you do dumb stuff. You put yourself in, and it's different for women. And sometimes you end up in more dangerous situations. Like nothing good happens after midnight. Yeah. Maybe it's 11. I don't know. Whatever. Now I just fall asleep.
Yeah, I go to sleep at 8:30. That's why.
Yeah. And I'm a night owl anyway. But it was just part of like how my college friends always thought of me. It's just what I was. And then I started just getting this feeling inside like, I don't think this is serving you. But I also had this feeling that many others who now don't drink talk about that they can relate to, that you feel like you're going to miss out on something. Like, oh, but like there's a friend of mine and he recently was like, I can't imagine going to Ireland though and not having a Guinness, or I can't imagine going to this and not drinking. And I was like, why don't you just try and actually reframe that it actually might be even better.
Right.
Have you considered that? And to each his own. I'm not like trying to preach or advocate. I'm saying it's been an amazing experience for me. So if anyone has those other feelings of like, I feel like it's getting in my way, it's probably because it is.
Yeah.
And it's something you may just want to consider. And I'm always open to talking to anyone about that.
Yeah.
Because that's probably one of the most meaningful changes that I made that I know my future self will never regret doing.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't, it's possible I could have screwed up everything.
And like you said, I mean,
it's amazing I haven't.
Yeah, but I mean, you
Honestly.
talked earlier about like just teaching your kids and leading your kids. I mean, that's probably something you're very proud of, is saying like, hey, you don't need that.
Yeah, and actually it's funny because one of the hardest things to kick is the ritual.
Yeah.
And like I drink de-alkalized wine.
Yeah.
That doesn't taste that good, but I'm so far away from the real stuff, I don't realize it doesn't taste that good. But I love the ritual of like, it's the end of the day, I'm pouring this wine, I'm checked out.
Yeah.
And my kids still, who are now old, like 13, 11 are the older ones, and they're like, are you drinking? And I'm like, no, it's not. You can have some.
Here's the label.
You can have some, and yes. But they're like, kids pick up on all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So again, I can't control if they're going to drink or not.
My daughter's in the gym with me trying to do push-ups.
Yeah.
She's 4.
Yeah, they notice
because they
everything.
watch what you're doing. And they want to be like you.
And it's not, again, it's not about being perfect. It's just continuing to come back to like, where's the high standard? And there's tons of stuff I wish I did differently or I didn't get quite right. And all we can do is reflect on the past, which we can't change, and see if we can make better decisions moving forward.
Yeah.
And that's not me being preachy. That's me saying that and asking people to hold me to that too. Especially when you're like really beating yourself up about something, or on the flip side, you're like not paying attention to something that you think that others see. Your future self isn't going to be psyched about what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Either what you're doing or what you're not doing.
Yeah.
Like you're, again, drinking like a soldier, a drunken soldier. What's the saying?
Sailor.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Sailor.
Yeah.
Or you're like gaining a bunch of weight and like just not taking care of your body and having a bunch of bad habits. But it's all about like the time and method and the who that delivers that message of how it's going to be received.
Yeah.
But that's where I try to just surround myself. My friends, there's been a huge like shedding of this last year of changes of who I recognize are like my nearest, dearest friends. And friendships ending aren't bad.
Yep.
And professional relationships ending aren't bad. But sometimes it's time for a change.
Yeah.
Of ending things, starting new things, or getting deeper on purpose with people that you're like, hey, and just making that effort, especially as a grown-up.
Yep.
Like adult friendships are a whole other dynamic. You're not just roommates. You're not on the same soccer team and you just see each other once a week or every other day. Like you have to make an effort to get in. And I think the busier you get, whether it's with your family, your business, sometimes we don't make the time for those other relationships, which can be like the most impactful thing to you as a person, a parent, in everything.
Yeah.
Because it goes both ways of like, I'm looking out for you. I know you're looking out for me and we have fun together. How cool is this?
Yeah.
But you got to do it on purpose or it's easy for like years to pass and you don't see those people.
Got to do it on purpose.
You got to do it on purpose. So ideally, that's where within my own team, like I try to protect the team that it's the people that I also want to see.
Yeah.
Every day because we see them more than anybody.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. I mean, that I hate using the word family in the workplace, but I mean, it ultimately becomes your family.
Yes, I think of it more as a community
that
you choose to be a part of. So it's like, am I adding to this community or am I taking away from?
That's a great way to put it. Am I adding or subtracting or pulling energy out of it?
Yeah. And actually on our team, like one of our core values that we adapted, it initially was team player, and we more recently changed it to a team player.
Yeah.
And that changed the whole framework of the filter of, are you like the best of the best? Are you desire to be? And are you training to be? And are you acting like that? Is that how someone would describe you? And if they wouldn't, then we're just not the right place for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean, are you like doing all the best things every single day, but is that that's what you strive to be?
Yeah.
Do you see yourself in that light?
Yeah. We versus me is a big thing that we talk about. And are you professional? Pros train every single day.
Yeah. And it's little stuff. It's just the nature of your habits.
Yeah.
Show me your car, show me your calendar, show me your bed, and I can probably get a pretty good guess of what you're like.
Absolutely. Well, I need to start making my bed.
Like, hello.
So if you could forecast the future, we'll wrap up with this. I mean, is it legacy, or what do you want the rest of your memory to be, or what's going forward here?
I mean, I just want to know that anyone I've come across can remember that they felt seen.
Yeah.
That they probably felt inspired by something big or little, and could see a bigger, brighter future than maybe they otherwise would have. Like, that's my unique gift that I bring to myself and I bring to others. And the more people I can bring that to, the better. Like, what's the downside of that? And I think it can be misunderstood as, oh, I'm trying to do it for me. No. This is about others.
And that's a big part of kind of the transition. It sounds like for the future is a platform and bringing this to others.
Yeah,
everything.
Having bigger impact and bringing, again, my unique gifts and teaching others about theirs so we can continue to collaborate, and together we're just better.
Yeah, I love it. Impact, legacy.
Yeah.
It's coming. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. It's
been
so
24
fun.
hours meeting you, and I really enjoyed this. So
we were fast friends.
Yeah, we're the best of friends.
Yeah. You're
Thanks.
like, I want to be friends with that cowgirl.
Yep. Love it.